Hey guys, BrickWizard59 here and welcome back to a brand new video. And today I'm super excited to bring you my completed build of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Now this build has been over a year and a half in the making and consists easily over 20,000 parts, and I'm just so happy to finally see it all come together. Now this build was inspired by the 71043, kind of the larger Hogwarts Castle set here, and I ended up actually taking this build and making it in a larger minifigure scale. So I'm so happy with how it's turned out. And again, overall this is kind of split into two main sections. So on the far left we have the Great Hall, behind which is the Gryffindor Tower. Then we got the bridge, which leads across to the East Wing building with the Chamber of Secrets underneath it. So lots of stuff to get to, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start off and do a quick brief view of the exterior, take a look at some of the details there, and then we'll move on to the interior. So let's go ahead and start off at the left with the Great Hall and move our way to the right. Alright, so here we have a look at the Great Hall. Now all structures in this build are all on rockwork, kind of similar to how they were in the film. So all this rockwork here is made primarily using the 1x3x2 slopes in dark bluish gray, as well as the inverted version and then some smaller bricks and cheese slopes. And I'm really happy with how it's turned out, as I tried to make it as random as possible. So again, I think it's turned out terrific. Again, I'm not the best at rockwork, so it was definitely a bit of a time-consuming process, but as I said, I'm really happy with how it's turned out. On the bottom, we got some small bits of foliage around. I know actually in the film and all, it's actually supposed to be water below it, but I just had green base plate, so just added some foliage to it instead. And I think that looks pretty good as well. Moving along to the top, we have what is kind of a bit of a dirt path or kind of around the entire build. And that has some various details, as we'll zoom in a bit here so you can get a better look. So again, we got some kind of cheese slopes throughout to represent some sort of kind of dirt or sand. You got a couple of lampposts there, which I think look pretty nice. Those are actually made using the lanterns from this new Harry Potter set. Then we have a look, you can see some characters. So I just put Ron and Hermione on the right. And then I got Harry battling Lord Voldemort, as well as Lucius Malfoy on the left. And then just a couple of other spiders. Moving along, this is a look at the actual Great Hall. So this is kind of split into two main sections, as we'll just move here. You have in the front the actual courtyard. So this is again seen throughout the films, primarily in the 7th film, part 2. So this is kind of the courtyard, and we'll again take a bit of a closer look at it when we take a look at the interiors. And then here we have actually the Great Hall. In terms of its design, this is actually based off of the Hogwarts Great Hall set, as I did buy two of those to combine them to make this build. So you have the kind of brand new windows with the kind of grille pieces inside them, and then you kind of got the arches as well as the kind of pointed sections on the top. And then in terms of the roof, it's made using plate and has some nice detailing throughout, as you can see right over there. So overall, some nice detailing again, and I tried to make it as different as possible, so I did throw in a bit of the dark orange kind of nougat color throughout the build to kind of give some worn out weathering look. So there is a look at that, and now I'll move over to the Gryffindor Tower. Alright, so here we have a look at the Gryffindor Tower. Now this was definitely one of the most difficult parts to build, mainly because it was such a large building and had to be in the circular form. There isn't really many Lego parts that could really make that effect. Again, the best thing Lego has in terms of parts are these kind of 1x4 kind of quarter cylinder pieces. However, with a building of that scale, it's really difficult to use these parts. So I ended up actually taking a alternating pattern of 1x3 and 1x1 bricks. And when you use those bricks together, they do bend just a bit. And if you have enough bricks in a row, they actually can make a full-on circle. So that's what I ended up doing. And again, I think it looks really nice. It adds just something kind of new and unique to the build. So in terms of windows, there are windows all throughout, and those are made using those newer 1x3 arch bricks. And so you can see we have just alternating window pattern all the way down. And then in terms of the roof, that was also a bit of a challenging one. That is made mainly using the kind of 1x1, let's say, try to get a good look there. So it's made using 1x1 kind of cones, as well as just bricks in a circulating pattern all the way to the top, as you can see there. So I think it looks really nice. And there is a look at the Gryffindor Tower, which sadly does not have an interior, as the overall kind of design just did not allow for an interior. Because it is in the cylinder fashion, you can't really fit Lego bricks inside it and kind of have them stable inside it. So I sadly was unable to put an interior in it, so that building is sadly hollow, but still I think it looks terrific. So let's go ahead and move on. Alright, now let's go ahead and take a look at the back section, and this is definitely one of my favorites, mainly in terms of the rock work. So as you see, the rock work kind of continued throughout, similar to the style of the Great Hall. And what I really do like definitely is the way it kind of curves in that L shape. I really liked kind of the way I built those bricks and integrated it to make it that kind of out-facing design. And I'm really happy with how that's turned out. So we again have the dirt path, which kind of continues all throughout. And you have kind of two main buildings here. Here you have a smaller tower and then kind of a entrance slash hallway. So this is again seen in the actual Hogwarts Castle. And I think it looks pretty good. So it's made using mainly slopes, and then I added some dark orange parts throughout to kind of make it a bit different. And then you have a look at the bridge here in the back. So this kind of connects this section to the east wing. So I just made Ginny Weasley there at the top, just walking across it. So pretty simple bridge. And now let's go ahead and move on to the east wing. Alright, so here we have a look at the east wing. Now first off, their style is quite similar to the Great Hall, where it has kind of the brown windows with the grill pieces, as well as kind of the large pillars of tan. And I tried to make it look as similar as I could. So we have kind of 3 sets of windows on each side, as well as 3 more on the top. And then you have 2 towers, 1 on each side. The towers are made again using those 1x4 cylinders, and the roofs are again similar to the design that was actually seen in the Hogwarts Great Hall set. So a bit of a fun fact, the Gryffindor Tower, which is seen in the Hogwarts Great Hall set, is as tall as the East Wing building on the side. So that kind of gives you a bit of a better look in terms of the scale of the overall build. And I did end up using some of these stickers from the Great Hall set throughout to kind of make it give the build a bit more texture. And then finally on the top we had the roof, which kind of angles inward, and then you have kind of the centerpiece of the East Wing with the window between it. Then I ended up putting Buckbeak on top. So here's a bit of a better look. You can see some of the nice details. So dark tan throughout for highlights in the build. You can see the windows and then the 2 double doors which lead inside. And then you can see you have some flames on the front. Moving along, just quickly give you a better look at kind of the dirt path around this. So you have Dumbledore, McGonagall, and Hagrid, and they're waiting at the end of the bridge, which we'll take a look at next. Alright, and finally here is a look at the bridge. So you can see it goes from the Great Hall all the way to the East Wing building. And again, I'm really happy with how it's turned out, especially the way I integrated it into the rock work. It was a bit challenging, but I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So here we have a look at the bridge. Again, it has more of the dark tan bricks here for highlights. And then you got the Minister of Magic kind of heading towards Dumbledore, as you can see there. And then finally on the bottom of each of the arches I have just some foliage, which actually goes all the way throughout to the end over here. So there is a look at the last part of the exterior of the build. And now let's go ahead and move in to the interior, starting off with the Great Hall. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off taking a look at the courtyard and then move our way into the Great Hall. So overall, this is a pretty straightforward build. So you got the courtyard made using a variety of these arches, and in the center you kind of have some kind of gray plates to represent kind of the pavement. Not too complicated, but I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Moving along, you would enter in here to the double doors, which open up like such, and that would lead you into the Great Hall. And again, there's some nice detailing here. So this is again the interior of the build. So you have some nice windows in the back. And then it's a bit tough to see here, but you do have a clock piece, as I'll try and get a bit of a better angle there. Now this actually is where the clock would go. However, I didn't have a kind of clock dish piece, so I ended up just adding this random part here, which, gets the job done for now. So that's a look at that. Again, you got some nice detailing on the top. And now let's go ahead and move in to the actual Great Hall interior. Alright, so here you have a look at the interior of the Great Hall. So again, once you're out of the courtyard, you would enter through the double doors, which I just showed you, into the Great Hall. So, as I said, this was actually based on the Hogwarts Great Hall set, except kind of enlarged. So that's why I've kind of had the overall interior similar design to that set. So we have a look at 4 tables here, one for each of the 4 houses. And because I didn't want to make this build kind of too wide, I only have 1 row of tables, or 1 row of seats, for each of the 4 tables. Then in the back you have, of course, the fireplace, which has some nice flames in it. So we can take a bit of a better look at it here. Again, so we got some nice detailing, some like turkey, croissants, ice cream, tea, all sorts of kind of small little parts to add some nice detailing. We even got scabbers in the back there. And then here we have, again, Professor Flitwick there in the corner. And then moving along, this is kind of the professor's table. And again, here's a better look at it. So you can see we got Madame Hoot, Professor McGonagall, Dumbledore, Quirrell, and Moody here, all at the table. And you got some goblets and kind of ice cream and things to represent some food. And again, I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Moving along to the top section. This is actually really cool. So here we have kind of the candles here. So sadly, Lego doesn't make translucent too many translucent rods or kind of the droid arms. So I ended up just using black here to represent the hovering candles. And you could see it looks quite nice here. So I have about 3 on each side. I even have nearly Headless Nick here standing at the top. Then what's really cool is I ended up buying 2 of the Hogwarts Great Hall sets. So I was able to get 2 sets of the Hogwarts Great Hall stickers, allowing me to make all 4 banners of the 4 houses, but make them double-sided. So each of them have 2 of the actual banner stickers. And again, I'm really happy with how that's turned out. You can kind of get a better look at it. The other 2 houses there in the back with Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. And again, I'm just really happy. That's a nice little detail that I added, and I really do like that. Really like Lego was finally able to add all 4 sticker banners of all 4 of the houses. So there is a look at the Great Hall, and there is a look at the interior. And then finally, yes, if you're wondering, I was unable to add anything on the bottom. So it's just nice and colorful here, as you could see. And again, I'm not that disappointed, as I was originally going to add the Chamber of Secrets here, but that is now under the East Wing, which we'll actually go ahead and take a look at right now. Alright, so here we have a look at the interior of the East Wing. So basically, you'd enter from the back doors there, and you'd go straight into this hallway. So there are kind of 2 sections of the hallway here, one which lead into the library, and one which leads into the classroom. So let's go ahead and start off with the classroom here. Alright, so here we have a look at the classroom. So you can enter in through this hallway here. And it's quite straightforward. We got 4 chairs and tables. And then I got Professor Lockhart there talking to Dumbledore. So this is, I guess, kind of supposed to represent the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom. And you can see it's some nice detailing. We got some flames on the sides, as well as these kind of large arches in the back, which let in some light. Moving along to the other side, this is the library. So you can see we got 4 sets of bookshelves. These were actually pretty fun to make. They're made using kind of a variety of different plates stacked on their side to make it look like books. And again, some nice detailing here. And you have a total of 5 of them, all with kind of different colors of books and plates, except in the very back here, this is supposed to represent kind of the forbidden section. So these are kind of like chained off books here. Nothing in the back, but I thought I'd just to make a mini little forbidden section in my library. So there's a look at that. And those are made using the kind of new window pieces here. So again, I think it turned out really nice. and now there's a look at the library. Again, you have the arches in the back, which also let more light inside. So there is a look at the interior of the East Wing. Now let's go ahead and move down to the Chamber of Secrets. Alright, and here we have a look at the Chamber of Secrets. So this is underneath the East Wing, and basically how it works is you have one long pathway which goes all the way across here in gray, and that's made using the snot technique. And then we have kind of water on each side. So I tried to match it as much to the film as I could. I know there are those kind of basilisk kind of heads on each side, and I know there were actually printed ones from a set back in 2002. I was sadly unable to obtain those. So you have water on each side, and then you can see we have Ginny right there, as well as Harry attacking the basilisk, which is the one from the 2002 Chamber of Secrets set, which is super cool here. Thought I'd just remove it so you can get a better look at it. So that's it right over here. So I think it looks really cool. You know, fits in very nicely with the MOC. So there is a look at that. Again, not too much detail in the Chamber of Secrets. And then we got some arches on the top as well to kind of represent some more detailing. So there's a look at that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and love this MOC, a thumbs up would be great. And of course, do not forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos coming very soon, including probably an announcement for what my next MOC is going to be in the near future. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos coming very soon. But anyways, it's Wizard 59, and I'll see you all next time.